If I told you some of the most common injuries I diagnose aren't from dogfights, car accidents, or even bad genetics, they're from normal, everyday things owners do with the best intentions. Would you believe me? Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Mosites from Mermaid Vet Hospital. I've been a practicing vet for over 10 years, and these are the types of injuries and stress behaviors I see in practice every single week. Most of the time, the owners aren't doing anything wrong. They just don't know what their dog's body's built for. So let's break down the science and simple fixes. Number one, repetitive straight line fetch. Look, I love fetch just as much as anybody, but one of the things that owners don't realize they're doing to their dog is as they run, break, pivot, and run back, they're putting massive repetitive stress on their joints and especially the cranial cruciate ligament of their knee, which is going to cause that CCL rupture. In humans, we call it an ACL. Dogs call it CCL because they're on four legs, but it's the same ligament that we're dealing with. The other thing that happens with those repetitive stress injuries, the same as tennis elbow or runner's knee. Your dog's going to be feeling great in the moment, but the next day they're going to be very, very sore. So what should you do instead? Well, you can do shorter, more varied throws, switch up the activity a little bit so it's not just one line back and forth constantly. You can also make sure that you're playing on grass or another surface with really good grip. And you can do tug games, you can do scent games, and try to switch up what you're doing with your pet. If you've got a dog that's really high drive, really going after it, you can also try a flirt pole, but when you're doing it, make sure that you're doing wide arcing circles. Number two is weekend warrior exercise. So this is something I see a lot with my clients. They've been working all week. They're at home for the weekend, especially here in Florida when the weather's nice like right now. They want to get out with their dog and do some exercise. The problem is your dog's been laying around all week. They haven't been doing very much because you've been at work. So going from doing nothing to exercising a lot is a conditioning problem. And you're going to see the same issues with your dog as you would with the person. When their muscles aren't used to getting such a sudden load and their bodies aren't used to that cardiovascular exercise or the heat that we have outside, if they've been sitting in air conditioning, you're going to see issues with strains. You're going to see issues with heat stress. You're going to see issues with delayed onset soreness of those muscles, just like you would with a person. What's better is if you can split it out to 10 to 20 minute stretches every single day throughout the week, condition your dog, build them up over time, just like you would for yourself. That's going to help you avoid some of those weekend warrior injuries. Number three, missing early pain and anxiety signals. So I spoke in a past video about recognizing signs of pain in senior dogs and how that can be difficult at times. Well, recognizing stress in a dog can be even more so if you're not used to what to look for. Major signs that I find owners miss are going to be lip licking, wailing, head turning, lifting their paws, slow blinking, avoiding touch. And a whale eye when dogs are looking in one direction with their head and looking in a different direction with their eyes. So when you see the white of the eyes, that's a sign that they're uncomfortable with you because they're trying not to face on with you to be aggressive. They're trying to watch you from side to make sure that they know what you're doing. When you see these, it's not a quirk, it's communication. So this comes up a lot whenever there's a cute YouTube video of a toddler playing with a large dog that's just so adorable and is posted and you see the dog moving around. Every single person I know in the vet field starts commenting on it about how they're licking their lips, about how they're very clearly uncomfortable with that situation and are worried about the vet people are worried about what's going to come next because usually that's going to be snapping, growling, biting. So make sure you're watching out for those early signs, give your dog a break if they need it, and separate them from the situation before anything bad happens. So number four comes as a bit of a surprise to a lot of people, but it's constant background noise. So if you've got the TV on constantly in your house, if you've got small children, if there's screaming or a lot of movement, it can create a low level of stress in the background for your dog. What this results in can be disrupted sleep, higher levels of cortisol, and ultimately illness. A case that I'll see sometimes is going to be a dog that's coming in for signs of fear or anxiety, almost like they would with thunder, that the owners aren't sure why it's happening. Sometimes it's interpreted as pain. One of the things that I'll make sure I ask about is there any construction near your house? Is there anything that would cause them to have that increased sound all around them that they're not able to habituate to and that is causing these stress behaviors to show? So what do we do about this? Creating downtime, if you can, inside your house where there's quiet time for your dog. Creating a den or quiet area that they can retreat to when they need to. That's one of the reasons I do support crate training because it's a space that's just theirs that they can go to kind of be away from everybody. And then there's also, there's white noise, there's calming tracks. I don't have a ton of experience with those, but I do know a few people that swear by them. Okay, number five is jumping up and down in and out of SUVs or high trucks or on and off of beds. If you've got a little dog, long body, that's a lot of weight to be swinging, a lot of stress to be putting on their back. If you've got a big athletic dog, it's more size, more force. So it's just more force coming down on those joints all at once. If they're doing this every single day, it's going to be more likely to lead to injury. If they're out of shape, if they're overweight, even more so. Every time they're coming down hard on those joints, it's causing micro trauma. It's damaging potentially the cartilage. And that adds up over time. Is going to cause arthritis a lot earlier than it needs to. So what do you do about this? Well, if you can and they're trainable, you can use a ramp or stairs to have them get into and out of vehicles, on and off of beds. If you can't, for small dogs, you can lift them up into bed. You can take them down out. That's what I'll recommend when I have a small dog with a back injury, if they can't stay off the bed, just to avoid that sudden shock to the system. And the last thing you can do is you can train weight. So when they're going in and out of that vehicle, on and off that bed, they're not doing it at full speed. They have a little more control over their bodies when it's happening. Okay, and number 6 is one that you all know is near and dear to my heart, and that's delaying dental cleanings because they're eating fine. So just because a dog is still eating does not mean that they're not in dental pain. I am not going to starve myself when I'm in pain, tooth pain, or any other kind of pain. I'll find a way around it because I don't want to die. And your dog is very much the same way. Most dogs will chew through dental pain for years before they finally stop eating, because that's the only way they have to show you and to tell you. Most owners aren't brushing their dog's teeth properly. They don't know what's going on inside the mouth behind the canines because it's not easily visualized. If you do want a refresher on that, though, I do have another video that goes over proper toothbrushing technique for dogs. But even if you're doing a full regular oral exam on your dog, you're not going to be able to see what's going on below the gum line. You're not going to be able to see that bone loss, sometimes that root exposure or that bacterial infection that's going to cause them pain. Getting regular dental cleanings for your dog is going to result in a longer, healthier, happier life. It's going to keep their organs functioning better for more years, and it's going to result in less cost overall in terms of pain medications, antibiotics, and surgical extractions of those teeth. All right, and one last bonus one. The honorable mention is picking up a small dog by the armpits. This Simba-ing a small dog does not happen in nature, and it's not good for them because what you're doing is you're taking all that weight from their armpits down and you're putting it on a pendulum that can swing back and forward. So I've even had clients come in where they say, my dog screams when I do this, and they pick them up like that and the dog screams. And I say, whoa, tip number 1, don't do that. But make sure when you're picking up any dog that you're grabbing their front and their back, that you're giving support to their hips and to their shoulders, either in front of or behind those legs, so that you can give them good, even distribution of weight and you're not causing any discomfort in their back. All right, if you found this helpful, please hit like and subscribe so that more pet owners can see it. If you want to see a part 2 that goes over even more everyday activities that can cause your dog harm, definitely let me know, because there are a lot of things that we see in practice. If you ever have questions about your dog's movement, stress, or behaviors, make sure you talk to your vet. If you're in the Vero Beach area, give us a call at Mermaid Vet, 772-925-1625, and we'll catch you back here for the next video.